Good morning, students. I am Shivani Sharma, Assistant Professor in Botany, Government PG College for Women, Gandhinagar, Jammu. I am here to discuss the life cycle of Morchella with you, which is a topic of first semester, Unit 3 and Subunit 3.2. I will be discussing the life cycle of Morchella into two subheadings. First is the characteristics of Morchella and second the life cycle. I will be covering the life cycle in four parts. First is the mycelium, second is the ascocarp fruiting body, its structure and its anatomy. Third is the dehiscence of acini, and fourth is sexual reproduction, in which I will be discussing the plasmogamy, the karyogamy and meiosis. And in the last, I will be discussing the diagrammatic representation of life cycle of Morchella. Let's start. Characteristic features of Morchella. Morchella is a saprophic Discomycete. Discomycetes is a class of fungi which contains club-like fungi. It contains morels, truffles, swamp beacon. In such fungi, the fruiting body is either cup-shaped or of different shapes. The mycelium is unconspicuous and underground. It consists of mass of loosely interwoven septate hyphae and the cells are multinucleate. It is commonly called as guttae and the fructification is called as ascocarp. The mature ascocarp, it varies in height from 25 mm to 100 mm and it is differentiated into a thick fleshy holostype surmounted by a conical cap called as pilus. The pilus has a pitted surface. The pits or depressions, they are lined by a fertile layer called as hymenium, which consists of acini and paraphyses. Asexual reproduction by spores is lacking and the sexual reproduction is extremely simplified. It consists of plasmogamy, karyogamy immediately followed by meiosis. Ascogenous hyphae, they arise from cell containing the dikaryon and which become septate. No hook formation take place in Morchella. Karyogamy takes place in ascus mother cell and the young ascus contain a synkaryon. The young ascus or the synkaryon undergoes meiosis and divides mitotically to form 8 nuclei which are subsequently arranged in ascus obliquely arranged. They are multinucleate and they are uninucleate when mature. Each ascus dehisces by the separation of its apex as a lid. This separation occurs because of the development of osmotic pressure. Each ascospore under suitable condition germinates to form a tube to form a mycelium. Now let us discuss the structure of mycelium. The mycelium, it consists of mass of loosely interwoven branched hyphae. That means hyphae branched or loosely interwoven है. The hyphae ramify to interstices. मतलब कि hyphae forms the offshoot through the interventions with the help of the nourishing material which the mycelium gets from soil, and that nourishing material is humus. The hyphae or the mycelium, they are septate and each septa contains many nuclei. And under adverse condition, that means when either there is lack of moisture or there is lack of nourishment, the mycelium produce sclerotia. Sclerotia is basically the hard, dark resting body which consists of the mass of hyphal threads and which has the capacity to remain dormant for longer duration. Now, the ascocarp or the fruiting body. Ascocarp begins as a dense knot of hyphae under favorable condition of food and moisture. The mycelium hyphae grow rapidly and branch repeatedly. They get interwoven to form dense compact masses. These masses of hyphae, they are called as hyphal nodes. And hyphal nodes are formed just below the soil, and each hyphal node under abundant food and moisture. So these are the favorable conditions. Develop into the aerial stalked fruitification called as ascocarp. And under unfavorable condition, they form the sclerotia. Now, ascocarp is a cup shaped when young. You remember cup shaped को क्या बोलते हैं? Discomycetes. During further growth, the hymenium become convex, SI face outwards, and the smooth hymenium later becomes complicated by the unequal growth of hymenial surface, which is thrown into folds and present a honeycomb or a sponge-like surface. Now, this pattern increases the fertile area and thus the number of SI. You remember, it's just like the villi of intestine to increase the area. Since stalk and the terminal honeycomb cap of fruitification or delicate structure, the morels grow best under moist condition and shade. Now this is the diagram of Morchilla. You can see here the grey colored stipe and dark brown colored the pilus. And the honeycomb pattern of the pilus is very clearly shown. Now in this figure, the ascocarp is the spore producing structure, and as the figure shows, the mature ascocarp consists of stalk-like portion, the stipe, surmounted by the hollow conical cap-like object, the pilus. Stipe is cream colored, thick. It is thick and fleshy and hollow with a waxy surface. Just like mushroom. Mushroom को भी आप touch करते हैं तो surface waxy रहता है. The fructification जो है, as I discussed, it ranges from 25 to 100 mm, 100 centimeter, 2.5 centimeter, 2.5 centimeter to 14 centimeter in height. And the color varies from dirty grayish to dark brown, depending upon the species and the age. The terminal conical cap of the pilus constitute the fertile portion of ascocarp. It is a hollow and fleshy. The honeycombed surface of pilus gives it an appearance of sponge. Pilus is petite, and when young, the surface of pilus is quite smooth. But towards maturity, it appears as a network of ridges and depression on its surface due to the unequal growth of hymeneal surface. Ridges are sterile and they are of same color as that of the stalk, but the depressions are fertile areas and they are the brown tint. So in this figure also it's quite clear. The ridges unite the fertile areas and which forms an irregularly distributed hymenium. The hymenium is the fertile part. So if we cut a section through this hymenium, we will find that subhymenium and hymenium. Subhymenium contains the mycelium, whereas the hymenium, it contains the ascus and the paraphysis. The ascus contains the ascospores. Ascospores are 8 in number, which are obliquely arranged. Each ascus usually contains 8 hyaline ascospores, which are arranged in a uniseriate manner. Uniseriate manner means one above the other. Okay. And the SI, they are positively phototropic. They bend towards the source of light. Now, intermingled with SI or elongated sterile cylinder hyphae called the paraphysis. And beneath the hymenium is the subhymenium. Now the cross section through the stipe reveals that it is made up of pseudoparenchymatous tissue. This tissue in the region of depression of pilus forms the hypothecia. Now let us discuss the dehiscence of SI. The tips of mature SI project above the level of hymenium and turn towards the light, being positively phototropic. The residual cytoplasm within each ascus changes into sugar of high osmotic value. The latter absorbs water. As the result, a considerable amount of pressure is set up in the SI. The pressure within the SI is aided by the turgor pressure set up by the paraphyses, which causes the release of ascospores through the perforated preformed apical pore, which opens by a lid at the top of ascus. The internal force projects the ascospores high up in the air, where they are caught up by the air currents. The explosion of SI or successive, not simultaneous. That means कि एक ascus से ascospores release हुए हैं, then another ascus. So this is how it will go on. The pilus gradually shrinks and dries up. Eventually it withers. The ascospores, they are large, colorless, oval and multinucleate when mature. Now the dispersal of ascospores. It is reported that the catabolic activities in the ripe fruiting body are high during the period of dehiscence. This is indicated by the marked rise in temperature of the tissue. These conventional currents, which are set up in the surrounding airs, induced by the warm tissue of ripe fruitification, play an important role in the dispersal of liberated ascospores. They are carried by wind to distant places and the ascospore germinates. Now in this figure, it is showing the germination of ascospore. You can see a ascospore with small germinal tube with a dikaryon, and then you can see the tube is elongated. Then we can see an interception, and each cell it is become multinucleated. On falling a suitable soil, each ascospore germinates. Please refer figure A to produce new mycelium soon after its release. The ascospore that happen to fall on unsuitable soil perish. Ascospores do not remain viable after 1 year near the soil surface. The ascospore germinate and develop extensive mycelium at 15 degrees centigrade. The ascospores germinate at the temperature of 2 degrees centigrade, but the rate of germination and hypal growth is slower at lower temperature, and above 15 degrees centigrade the germination is inhibited. Sexual reproduction in Morchella. The asexual reproduction in Morchella is absent, and the sexual reproduction is quite simplified because the sex organs which constitute the accessory part of sexual process, they are completely suppressed in Morchella. The sexual reproduction involves two distinct processes, namely plasmogamy and karyogamy. Karyogamy is immediately followed by meiosis. So starting with plasmogamy, plasmogamy means the union of cytoplasmic content of the cell without the nuclear fusion. In case of Morchella, the plasmogamy is delayed. As the result of plasmogamy, a binucleate cell is formed in the generation which forms the dikaryophase. Now the plasmogamy in Morchella occurs at a very late stage during the development of ascocarp in the subhymenial layer. It takes place just before the formation of SI. Plasmogamy in Morchella takes place by two different methods. First is the somatogamous copulation. Somato means vegetative. So in this case, two vegetative hyphae of the subhymeneum region of the pilus comes in contact the intervening walls between the copulating cell, it dissolves at the point of contact. The two multinucleate protoplasm intermingle in the fusion process. The functional nuclei, one from each copulating cell, form the dikaryon, and all other nuclei in the fusion cell disappear. Later, the escogenous hyphae, they arise from the fusing cell containing the dikaryon. Now, each escogenous hyphae receives a pair of nuclei. Now, these are the derivatives of parent dikaryon. The escogenous hyphae afterwards become septate, and the terminal cells of these hyphae, they function as ascus mother cell. They are binucleate, and the nuclei, they are the derivative of parent dikaryon. Okay, so in this case we have seen that it is involved the conjugation of two hyphal branches leading to the fusion, leading to the formation of dikaryon, and the terminal cell function as ascus mother cell. Now the second type, that is called as autogamous pairing, as the name indicates, means the pairing of the nuclei of the same cell. It has been reported in Marcella elata. In this case, any vegetative cell of the subhymeneum may establish a dikaryon. It is accomplished by the pairing of two of its own vegetative nuclei, and therefore it is called as autogamous pairing. The remaining nuclei degenerate. Since the cells, they are multinucleate, so the remaining nuclei, they degenerate, and the cells with dikaryon, they develop the escogenous hyphae, as in case of somatogamous copulation. So the difference between the two is, in one case, it is the conjugation, the dikaryon is formed by the two different hyphae, whereas in second case, the dikaryon is formed by the single cell only. The plasmogamy is followed by karyogamy. In karyogamy, the two nuclei in ascus mother cell fuse. The fusion cell with the diploid nucleus is called as young ascus. It represents the transitory diplophase of the life cycle. The asci in Morchella thus develop from the tips of escogenous hyphae without the formation of croziers. Croziers means the hook. So I had already discussed in characters, no hook formation takes place in case of Morchella. The karyogamy is immediately followed by meiosis. The young ascus cell elongates. The synkaryon in ascus undergoes two successive division. These constitute meiosis, and during meiosis, the number of chromosomes in the resultant 4 daughter nuclei is reduced to half the diploid number. The 4 haploid nuclei undergo third division. It is mitotic. In this way, the 8 haploid daughter nuclei are formed in each ascus cell. Each of these is fashioned into an ascospore. The ascospores, they are uniseriate and they are obliquely arranged. With the formation of ascospores, the haploid or the gametophytic phase is again initiated in the life cycle of Morchella. It is speculated that overwintering stage of life cycle of Morchella is the sclerotium. As I have discussed, that if there is no nutrient, or there are winters or any unfavorable phase, then this leads to the formation of sclerotia. Sclerotia is the dormant phase in which it is a dark resting body. Let us discuss the diagrammatic representation. So the life cycle has two phases, haplotic phase and the diplophase. The haplophase is represented by the apothecium, the ascus, ascospores, which on germination, ascospore undergoes somatogamy to form the binucleate cell. The binucleate cell, the fusion occur and form the escogenous hyphae. So exogenous hyphae, they are diploid. The typical terminal cell of exogenous hyphae forms the eschus mother cell. In eschus mother cell, karyogamy takes place to form a diploid nucleus. This diploid nucleus undergoes two divisions to form the apothecia. Thank you.